Yes, I guess recording has started. So, welcome everyone. Good evening. This is a Saturday for sustainability learning. So, every Saturday we are devoting around 60 minutes of our life to understand sustainability, and it's a collaborative space. I can say it's a mastermind group. These are fellow professionals coming to the session to join as as a expert and as a learner. So, both as at the same time. So this is a nothing but a concept of synergy. So that is, I really like this concept and idea. One plus one, it's not equal to two. There are infinite possibilities. That's are the possibilities for two minds as well. So whenever we connect, so that's always like a third mind and much more than the just summation of two. And that is what is required in sustainability, and that's what we will do. And if you have new, so these are the four outcomes I'm just sharing so that we can focus in that way. So learning something new, sharing something new with others, networking with fellow professionals, learning and career opportunities, and the last one is thought leadership. This will be the opportunity to maybe lead a common understanding for sustainability. So, what is the basic of this discussion forum? If you have joined for the first time, I must say DIKW pyramid is there. So, in today's time, we have more than enough data information for us, but what we lack is knowledge and wisdom, practical application of the things that we learn, and which only come from time. So, that is what something that we will try to understand with each other. And second way is discussion, question and answer. That's always the best way to learn, and even I would say best way to teach. So we will try to follow it. So it's just a reminder. Every week I share it. Please feel free to jump in wherever you want or wherever you can contribute with your experiences, because it's never an expert session. It's always learning from each other, and you are always encouraged to speak. And it's a non-judgmental, collaborative space where we all can contribute. So please contribute, and that's how you can end the session. So how we are conducting this is now we will have some discussion, and we will also share some of the research report or BRSR report, and back to basic. If anybody would like to share any one topic, we will plan it. We are steering this discussion in this way now onwards. And just a reminder, if you have joined this session with calendar invite or WhatsApp group, that's great, because that will ensure sustainability of joining. But if you have joined from the link shared by someone else, so I would recommend if you register yourself, that's a free of cost, and you will get the email, you will get the calendar invite on email, and that's how the consistency can be maintained. So I would recommend that. Okay, great. So I'll just admit few people, just a minute. Yeah, perfect. And if you would like to contribute, it's not a mandatory, I must say, but I have arranged some of the content that we discussed on the Google Drive. So if you want, you can connect with me later also. That's not a mandatory part. Yeah. So with this short introduction of the initiative, let's come back to today's session, which is week 55. And today we are discussing the main topic as CBAM or CBAM, which is called as Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. So we will try to explore more on this topic. And second topic in today's discussion is BRSR report of one organization, and today maybe we can check Thermax. So let's see how it goes. So first is CBAM, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, and I'll just quickly share my screen where we can deep dive into what exactly is it. And can you please confirm if you can see my screen, where you can see European Commission's website? Can you see? If you can just confirm quickly. Okay, great. I could get some thumbs up. So that's great. And just a request for all who have joined from different name than yours. So please, if you can rename yourself, I can see someone join as A. It's a request, if you can rename with your name, that would be great for our discussion. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. So it's the, as you can see on the screen, carbon border adjustment mechanism, and majorly it's driven by the European Commission, European Union, we can say. And it's nothing but understanding the problem in global parlance or global context. And I always believe in the in examples or in analogies. So I'll just quickly introduce one example, and let's see what answer we could find from that. And maybe I hope we could relate it with the CBAM as well. So I'll stop share for now, and I'll just quickly share one scenario and let's see if we can correlate. This is the first time I'm testing it, so do let me know. Okay, so let's understand one school. Okay, so this is a story of one school. Let's go to the 10th standard. There are four divisions. Let's say 10th A, 10th B, 10th C, and 10th D. So there are four classes, and they have the assignment. Let's say they have to create some paper boats or paper planes, we can say, from paper, but they have to make it in such a way that there should be minimum waste that is generated from paper, and the quality of the plane, whatever paper plane they are making, that should be the best. And in the competition, whoever makes the best product, best plane, they will get the maximum award, or let's say 10,000 rupees is the first prize, for example. So if we consider this example, and we are also measuring how much waste they are generating, right? So in order to prepare that paper plane, they have to make some waste, of course, so that they'll they will have big paper, and out of that they have to make it of different sizes, different shapes, and that's how waste is generated. And now what we are saying is, uh, what we are saying ki whoever makes best product, they will get the maximum award, right? So it's a competition in between them. And now we are having stringent, let's say, rules for 10th class, right? So in 10th class, as we all know, these are the mature students. We are having stringent, let's say, assessment mechanism. We have continuous monitoring. One teacher is every time they're observing them, and that's how what they do. So let's say they devise a mechanism so that 8th standard, so the students are, let's say, younger, there is no one to look at it, and that's how what they're doing is whatever waste activities are happening, so they are outsourcing to the 8th standard. So they are telling, okay, so from 8th standard we will take that well prepared, well charted all the papers, and we will just make it. If they do in this way, still there is a waste is being generated, maybe not in 10th standard but in 8th standard, that is being generated, and they are using it, let's say, they are discarding it. uh, we say, let's say, it's not monitored, it's not properly done. We can understand the students are less mature compared to the 10th standard. And if as a school we want to improve this situation, what we would do? It's just an open question. I hope I am making sense. Can anybody contribute?
Sir, we will give them little relaxation for some time so that they can learn more uh,
Mhm.
and adapt with this stringent regulation. So we will
Right.
get them some time to cope up with the new situation.
Right. So this would be perfect in case, let's say, we have a competition across school, right? So maybe 8th standard are also competing at the same level with the 10th. Yes, Siddesh, you want to say something, please?
Yeah, so what I will say, a mindset change is needed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, since it is sustainability, competition should be converted to collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone may collaborate to devise only one plane and construct one plane, right? And so that the waste is reduced. So I
Right.
believe the competition word should not be there when it comes to sustainability. That is where the problems start. And then the award can be shared rather than
Mm-hmm.
it's
Right.
something called prisoner's dilemma in management, like
Mm-hmm.
where people
Right.
go into competition rather than collaboration when the
Right.
award can be shared.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's very systemic view. Yes. And Stanley is saying we need to educate all. Yeah, absolutely. So this was one of the way to understand CBAM, and let's understand the analogy now. Okay. So what we said, in 10th standard, these are the mature students, these are the developed, let's say, student compared to 8th standard. we are having stringent mechanism for them, we are having stringent monitoring from them, and that's how somehow they have the incentive to outsource this activity to 8 standard, because that is not monitored properly, or there is no as such stringent regulation for the 8 standard, and that's how it is beneficial for them to outsource this kind of activities. And as a school, if we consider only a 10th standard and 8th standard, both are doing, let's say, good, right? But if we consider the entire school, the intent of reducing waste is not happening, right? So if we consider the entire school as our target or in our boundary, we want to consider that, and it's the same way with CBAM. So what we are talking here is the climate change. It's a universal, it's a global problem, and it's not about only developed countries. So just in simple language, what CBAM is: carbon border adjustment mechanism. So these different classrooms are borders. What developed countries are doing, they have stringent regulation, and in order to, let's say, get away from these regulations, these developed countries, let's say European country, European Union, what these organizations can do, they will outsource entire their waste production, whatever waste is happening, all the waste intensive, energy intensive activities, they will shift the burden to the less developed countries. And in, let's say, COVID period also, I guess there was a lot of debate and a lot of issue had happened when China and some of the East Asian countries rejected to take the waste from Europe and America. So at that time, there was a huge debate of waste, how the developed countries are dumping waste in the ocean or these less developed countries. In the same way, the waste production also, they are, let's say, outsourcing completely to the less developed countries, and that's how they are getting away with the this kind of uh, mechanisms. So in this, if we want to solve this problem, what CBAM is doing, in our students example, what they will do, they will say, if you are bringing it, whatever material from, let's say, 8 standard students to 10 standard, they thought it's economical, so let's kill that motivation, and that's how they will levy some charge or some price for that, and that's how that will be monitored, so that it will be reduced. So to have a fair comparison, and what was the, let's say, drawback for the 8th standard, maybe they'll not get that kind of opportunity, and in this term, the less developed countries or developing countries might not get many businesses or many opportunities, so they will lose on the opportunities because of this. So in short, I tried to simplify the idea with one example. I hope you could get the general idea of CBAM from that. And now let's read the carbon border adjustment mechanism. We'll read a little bit, and then please do share your feedback about this example so that we can make it better, and maybe you can suggest something what we can do. All right. So I'm into this European Commission, European Union's website, as you can see. Carbon border adjustment mechanism, multiple languages, as you can see. And from Hindi, I guess this is Carbon Seema Samayojan Tantra. So that is written over here. I'll read little bit, and then if anybody would like to explore something in more detail, so please do let me know. Climate change is a global problem that needs global solution. As the EU raises its own climate ambition, and as long as less stringent climate policies prevail in many non-EU countries, there is a risk of so-called carbon leakage. So this is a one concept, what we said, carbon leakage. So they will outsource this kind of activities to the other countries or other area. Carbon leakage occurs when companies based in the EU move carbon intensive production abroad to countries where less stringent climate policies are in place than in the EU, or when EU products get replaced by more carbon intensive import because that is cost effective, right? So obviously, for all these kind of stringent policies, stringent management is there, so that's how the price gets higher. To get saved from it, they will, let's say, import the products from the less monitored countries or less stringent policies where there are less stringent policies, and that's how they will save on the money. So this is a motivation for them. So that's to solve this issue, the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism is the EU's tool to put a fair price on the carbon emitted during the production of carbon intensive goods that are entering the EU, and to encourage cleaner industrial production in non-EU countries. By confirming that a price has been paid for the embedded carbon emissions generated in the production of certain goods imported into the EU, the CBAM will ensure the carbon price of imports is equivalent to the carbon price of domestic production, and that the EU's climate objectives are not undermined. The CBAM is designed to be compatible with WTO rules. So WTO is World Trade Organization, WTO rules. CBAM will apply in its definitive regime from 2026. So we still have 2 years, while the current transitional phase lasts between 2023 and 2025. This gradual introduction of CBAM is aligned with the phase out of the allocation of free allowances under the EU Emissions Trading System (ETS) to support the decarbonization of EU industry. So, as you can see, the basic details of what it is and the purpose that we already discussed and how that will be done. So, all the details, as you can see, guidance and FAQs are also there. Okay, and let's see some of the FAQ. So these are one of the FAQs that we have. So this is one good source because it's directly coming from the original resource, and I always recommend getting it from the original source, because that's how we get the how it was designed in exact way, not the interpretation of someone other. So this is the best resource. I'll share this. And second resource that I could get is PwC's this resource about the FAQs on CBAM. So this is also good resource, as you can see on the screen. And I'll share this both with you in WhatsApp group so that you can also read. Otherwise, you can also search on internet. That's openly available. So let's look at some of the important questions. If anybody would like to take any question, please do let me know. We can just go over there directly. And if anybody would like to take any of the points, you are welcome. So a lot of questions are there. All right. So before starting, this FAQ document is mainly focusing on transitional phase of CBAM, which entered into force 1st October 2023. So yet to complete a year. Nonetheless, several questions concerning the definitive period starting from January 2026 are also addressed. Why they are putting? So we have already discussed it, but still let's see what's it in more detail. The EU is at the forefront of international efforts to fight climate change. The European Green Deal set out a clear path towards achieving the EU's ambitious target of 55% net reduction in greenhouse gas emissions compared to 1990 levels by 2030, and to become carbon neutral by 2050. In July 2021, the Commission made its fit for 55 policy proposals to turn this ambition into reality, further establishing the EU as a global climate leader. Since then, those policies have taken shape through negotiations with co-legislators, the European Parliament, Council. Many have now
Dhananjay, you are on mute. You are on mute. Dhananjay, you are on mute.
I think has some issues with his mic or
Okay.
bandwidth.
I'm audible to others.
Now you are. Now.
Now you are.
you are audible, sir. Now you are
Okay.
audible, sir.
Okay, great. Thanks. So I don't know how much I missed. So I'll just quickly
55 policies.
Okay, great. So the Commission made 55 policy proposals to set this turn ambition into reality. So what I was saying, so they have gone into further negotiations with co-legislators, the European Parliament and the Council, and so all the stakeholders there. and it has been signed into EU law. This includes EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism. So there are multiple ways where they wanted to intervene with the policy, and this was the wonderful thing into this about this tool. So this is a policy tool, and in systems thinking, what we say is there is a pyramid, right? So whatever, if you only work at the event level, so you might not be able to work long term, or the impact will be very low. But if you work on a policy level or the structure level, which will have a long-term impact, maybe positive or negative, and it's always beneficial if you work at the policy level. So this is one policy, one law that they have come up with. As the EU raises its climate ambition and less stringent environmental and climate policies prevail in some other non-EU countries, there is a strong risk of so-called carbon leakage. That is, companies based in the EU could move carbon-intensive production abroad to take advantage of laxer standards, or EU's product could be replaced by more carbon-intensive imports. Such carbon leakage can shift emissions out of Europe and therefore seriously undermine the EU as well as global climate efforts. So absolutely. So what we discussed at the start, the example with school, maybe just stringent regulations and 10 standard about waste reduction, that might not work if that's just an example, but still just focusing on one, let's say one standard won't work. We have to also see what is happening in other standards, and in the same way, if we consider them with countries or maybe the regions, so it holds true with the carbon emission as well.
Yeah. Before that, can we go into carbon? What is the definition of carbon leakage?
Yeah. So what they are saying, I guess here, can you see? I've just highlighted. Just
Yeah.
a minute. So what they're saying, carbon leakage is can happen with the two ways. First is they can move their production systems to the region where there are less intensive, let's say less stringent standards or policies. For example, developing countries, right? Or second way is we will directly import the products and we will replace the product whatever is manufactured in the EU, or the having more stringent policies. Wherever there are more stringent policies, so we can replace them, because it makes sense in the financial, there is a direct incentive for that. So carbon leakage is a let's say process of shifting the burden, in short. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody would like to add or comment? Please, you can.
But what the definition says on the carbon leakage on CBAM, like there are a few definitions on.
I'll just check in this document. Let's see.
Because this is the main.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Is there any definition? Just a minute. So this we have seen. Okay. Reduce the risk of carbon leakage.
Sir, it is the shifting of carbon burden to others, I think. Simple definition is.
Yeah. Let's see in this document also. Okay. What is it? Leakage. No. No, I guess they haven't given any as such definition as carbon leakage, but what we can find over here is, so that yes, as rightly said by Priyanka, so it's shifting the burden or shifting the emissions from one country to the other country, and that's how the carbon is leaked.
Dhananjay, I think carbon leakage is the difference between high energy intensity between low energy intensity. So gap of the between high energy intensive product and less energy intensive, the gap between that is the carbon leakage.
All right. All right. Agree. So anyway, the outcome is the same, like whatever stringent or whatever benefit that we might be getting by stringent rules and regulations, so that is somehow being washed away, and somehow the carbon intensive products or processes are happening just to find out a way, and because we are just focusing on one country or one region, and that's how that carbon is leaking from the system or from the that one process, right? But definition as such I couldn't find over here. Or what we can do, let's search.
Rather, I have a small point,
Mm-hmm.
personal observation.
Mm-hmm.
This carbon emission comes from all the industries, and
Mhm.
this industries, they don't want the small one or medium others to grow faster. They put these conditions so that you really don't grow, and put some kind of limitations of various kinds, psychologically or other things, technically. Essentially, they want to be the leaders in the world, not allowing others to grow. Maybe my observation is just
No,
take it.
yeah, so that would be definitely, that would be there, because what we can say is, because we are looking at multiple viewpoints, and that is absolutely, some of the organizations are working in that way. And let's say one of the prerequisite, if we really want to reduce the carbon emissions, so one of the very important tasks for the developed countries is they should transfer the technology. They cannot say that, okay, so we have developed these, and these are the copyright, and we have the intellectual property rights, and that's how we will sell you this at a higher rate. And still they will expect that all the less developed countries or developing countries, somehow they will, let's say, work around it, and they will accept it. It's a new colonization in a different way. So, and I guess CBAM, when we are talking about India and when we are considering it for the Indian context or developing countries context, so that would be one of our requirement, that you should also transfer the technology, and maybe you should support the organizations over here also to be stringent instead of just levying the tax. Levying the tax would be a very short-term measure. But if you really want to do something about it, then definitely a collaborative way would be one of the options.
Another way of looking, our
Uh-huh.
own industries which are producing this carbon extra, we should help
Mhm.
them how to get it dissolved or minimized
Absolutely.
by plantations and various other ways, other
Right.
means, by which the industry growth should not be stopped. Parallelly, we develop a balance of it
Right.
to look it positively.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
So, Dhananjay sir, I think the regulation should be specific to the geographic region or the economic status of the country. So it should be specific to the context. It shouldn't be the like generalized one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what is the way out? Means, what can be done then? So,
I think
what you're saying, they should consider the organization, not country, right? What I understood.
no, they should consider the country also. Like, like
Uh-huh.
India is a developing country, and there are multiple sectors inside. Like different sectors have different emission level. So, because India is a developing country, we need to grow also. So, I think it should be happen in a collaborative way where like sector specific regulation should be there, and India should get, or any developing country should get that kind of relaxation over there. I don't know exactly how like it we will work out on it, but it should be specific to the context.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It should be done in a just way. Like justice should be there.
Right. 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 Agree.
Yeah, Dhananjay,
Uh,
I have shared the link to the chart, see, where they have given the definition of carbon.
okay. Great. 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 Let me just check.
Beggars are not choosers, hence we have to support our growth with some parallel way how it can be absorbed and this thing. Than hearing all others' comments, we ourselves strengthen from within.
Yeah, page number 5. Yeah, this is.
And we have committed for net zero by 2070. This is one of the reason like we could have commit like 2050 or something, because we are a growing country. That's why like government decide, okay, we should take some time, and that's why it is net zero 2070.
Right. Yeah, and that should be there for countries
Yes.
like
But
India.
that, sorry, but
You
that
go to page
growing is,
number 5, Dhananjay.
oh,
Okay,
sorry, continue.
just a minute.
Page number 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Page,
Okay. Somehow
next page.
I should not search it. I will directly go to page number 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here.
Okay. So first page only, right?
Yeah. Summary. It is so-called carbon leakage.
Mm-hmm. So right. Yeah, it's the same way, right? So what we discussed.
Yeah.
Production relocating to countries with less ambitious decarbonization policies. Right. So ultimate thing what is happening is production is relocating to the countries where the less stringent emission standards are. So that can happen with directly production process happening over there, or directly the product is being replaced. So directly they are ordering the product. So maybe import, and that's how that can be done. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
This is
And
also
also the key terms definition also they have given in their main website, because this is the key.
right.
The companies, no, the company
Mhm.
transfer production to countries
Mhm.
larger.
Right. So I hope you can
large-
see it on the screen.
yeah, key terms.
Where it is? Just a minute. It should be somewhere.
Ranjay sir, one solution can be like all the developing country, they can do some
You can
kind of
click on the
lobbying.
chart.
Mhm.
Dhananjay, you can click on the chart.
On, sorry.
The link. The link.
Okay, okay, in chat. Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah, what you are saying, sir? You are saying something. Sorry.
Yes, Priyanka, please. You were
Priyank,
saying
please. You are
Yeah,
saying.
sir.
one of.
I think if all the developing countries, they will do some kind of lobbying or something, na, that like they should stand together and speak for their right. Then I think something can happen.
Mhm. Right. And I guess India is also representing that, obviously.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I just wanted to say, when we say growth for developing countries, are we really growing? When we consider GDP as the measure, and when only the super rich,
Here,
like the top
here
top
only. Here,
top 1% are growing, right? So we have
just
to
scroll up.
also have a kind of a definition for what growth exactly means for us as a developing country.
Mm. Yeah,
Sir,
that's
what is your suggestion? Like, what should be the indicators then? I'm just curious.
Indicators, yeah. So that's a complex question, but at the end, aren't we destroying the forest ourselves, right? Or aren't we investing a lot of money in coal? Why is it happening? Where are our commitments? So we have to also think from our frame of reference. Of course, developed countries have a lot to do because they are to blame for everything that has happened till now. But how first we should be very clear as to what growth means for us, right? It should be sustainable. It should not be something just because developed countries are doing, we should also continue to do the same. So that needs to be defined, because we are facing the brunt, right? Delhi is, all more major cities
Yes.
are going through pollution. It's not something that the pollution is going outside when we are growing. Our growth is, we are only facing the repercussions of our own growth, so in a way.
and one of the ways I hope you can see on the screen. This is GNH, Gross National Happiness, and this was initially came from Bhutan, and they have it at policy level. They have
Yeah,
it
at
at
the constitution level only, I think. They have
yeah,
some rules where the environment is protected in the constitution itself.
yeah. So this is a wonderful example how that can be done, and even I guess some of the researchers from Oxford and the Western researchers as well, they are also a part of this study. and they are developing such kind of frameworks where we can measure the true well-being of the people. So yeah, that's a bigger debate that we should have, whether GDP is enough or not. There are many reasons why GDP is not enough, and to measure the progress, so-called progress. So this would be an interesting discussion point.
GDP is not the indicator for the progress of a country for sure.
Right. And on this point, just I wanted to add one example for those who are hearing it for the first time, that GDP is not the right indicator. So under GDP, there is one very popular example, and it depicts the issue very well. There was one oil leakage in America. I don't remember the year, but maybe 1980s or 1990s. And due to that oil spill, a lot of let's say a lot of animals, a lot of marine animals died over there. A lot of fishes died. A thick layer of oil was spread across the that part of ocean, and there was a huge support came over there. That's how people came in there to support, to volunteer, to let's say revive the ecosystem over there. And that's how in that province the GDP was higher, remarkably higher than the previous years. So if we just look at the GDP, yes, in that year GDP grew, but actually it was not beneficial. No one benefited from that activity. Yes, Exxon Valdez case. Yes, yeah, that was the issue. So that was a very pertinent example or case study to look at it, why GDP should not be viewed as a indicator of progress. And maybe we can take it in a different session, but yeah, it's a big issue. Yes. And again, coming back to some of the definitions that we could see, as you can see on the screen. Okay. And on this topic, because we have very limited time, as you can see, so thank you to Priyanka who had prepared this short notes for us. And I would request Priyanka, if you would like to throw some light on any of the points that you think is
No, sir, you
important,
can
you can.
continue.
Okay. Okay. So I guess as we have shortage of time, maybe we can read. Yes, someone is speaking. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, so let's read some of the important points from this. So maybe how it works, uh, covers imports in carbon intensive sectors like steel, cement, aluminum. As we know, these are some of the energy intensive, carbon intensive businesses or sectors. Importers must purchase CBAM certificate corresponding to the carbon price that would have been paid if the goods were produced under EU carbon pricing rules. So in short,
And Dhananjay sir, India is a major exporter for steel. So in
right.
steel industry, the CBAM, like, it plays very important role.
Mhm.
Like for companies like JSW Steels and all. So
Right.
they are working on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the repercussions, why we all should care about it, because if we, let's say, steel or cement or fertilizer, so these are the big job providers in India, right? And let's say lakhs of crores of people, maybe their livelihood depend on this, and if they lose the business, so it's impact on the livelihood of so many people. And that's how what we were discussing, India would create a lobby, and maybe we can represent the other similar countries. And I guess India is doing that. So I'm very sure about it. Global impact of CBAM. So countries exporting to the EU may face higher costs, direct implication, and potential shift in global trade patterns. So that's it's nothing but what. So the intent may be correct, but maybe the repercussions or short term what is happening in the world. So that would be the developed countries will create such kind of, let's say, trade barriers, and which is against WTO, World Trade Agreement, right? You cannot import such kind of, let's say, taxes, and that's how you limit your market. But still, you want to export these products, whatever products you are producing, to the other countries. then these countries will also, as a countermeasure, they will also increase the tariff and taxes in their country. So such kind of trade war that happens, and in the news you might have seen trade war happening in China and USA. So that was very common in last couple of years. So that kind of scenario might happen, and it will have impact on entire world, because now it's not a siloed environment. All the supply chains for all the products that have gone to across the all the continents. So that's the scale of this law. What are the environmental impact? Incentivizes countries to implement stricter carbon policies. Yes, and could lead to global reduction in carbon emissions. So this is the opportunity. So where we should focus, and yes, for any law, for any policy, there would be hundred of ways how it can be cheated, how it would not work. But still, as a, maybe if we care about the earth, we care about the people and sustainability, and if you are serious about sustainable development, we should find out what are the opportunities and what are the ways where we can strengthen it, and we can maybe work out this policies and rules. So for India perspective, India's export profile, we are significant exporter of steel, aluminium, cement to EU. Current carbon policies, national action plan is there, NAPCC on climate change, renewable energy targets, energy efficiency programs are already there in India. Mission life is already there. That's on personal level, but whatever here is written, that is for the organizations, for the industries. Potential impact on Indian exports. So increased cost for exporters to the EU. For example, let's say there is a product of 100 rupees, whatever we are exporting to EU as of now. After CBAM being mandatory, that will raise to 110 in simple terms, right? And if the price gets increased, and that's how the market gets reduced, right? So the people might find it anyway, whoever is importing that in, let's say, Europe, they will sell it on higher price, and that's how the affordability of that particular product or service will be lessened, and that's how the business will be lower for the India. Need for alignment with EU carbon standards, so that we need to do. Economic implications are very clear. We might face higher cost because we need to purchase the certificate. Otherwise, we would not be able to export it. Impact. So there are two ways. First is we might lose the entire business. First way, or second way, maybe we need to purchase it, and that will add the cost on it. Impact on competitiveness. Competitiveness will be less, it will reduce, and sector specific impact, as we said, steel and aluminum sector. These are the top two sector which would be which would be affected the most. So what are the policy and strategic implications for India? Aligning domestic carbon policies with global standards. So one of the best way, because anyway we have to achieve it. But what India is saying, yes, we will achieve it. We want to achieve it, but it will not be in so short period of time for country like India and the level of development at which we are currently at. And second is enhancing the national carbon market. So these are the policy alignment we need to do. Strategic responses, investing in green technologies and infrastructure. First thing. Second is enhancing energy efficiency across sectors. Lobbying for CBAM adjustment or exemptions for developing countries. And along with it, I can say is maybe we can ask the better technology, because let's say if these countries have already developed these kind of technologies, so they should transfer, technology transfer should be there, and that's how, if they can support us in that, so definitely we don't have any concern to lower the emission. So that can be obviously done. Environmental implications for India, potential acceleration for India's green transition, encouragement of renewable energy adoption and energy efficiency improvement. Yes, this is opportunity. Challenge is, the biggest challenge is how to balance these two, that is economic growth, and while environmental sustainability also we want to achieve. Addressing cost burden on industries, these are the two main challenges are there. And possible negotiation strategies are advocating for fair treatment of developing countries in CBAM. So maybe they should have some provision for developing countries. That is what we can expect and we can ask. And yeah, so seeking exemptions, because there are many such kind of provisions can be made. Regional alliances can be happening, right? Building coalitions, let's say ASEAN is there, South Asian countries are there. So in this way, the African countries are also. And what I've read sometime before, so India is well representing all these countries and all these groups into the G20 is there, or such kind of forums are there. So India is well representing such kind of lobbies, and that's being done. Domestic reforms, yes, carbon pricing mechanism is there, or promoting sustainable industrial practices there, so that we can do. So in short, these are some of the details that we have discussed under CBAM and the document that you are seeing. So this is from Priyanka who have prepared. So thank you so much from all of us. Okay.
Sir, I haven't done anything. This is I use ChatGPT simply, and I like.
Yeah, but it's useful. Thank you.
And so people are asking in the chat that they need this document. So if you can share it.
Yeah. So I'll share all these documents in the group. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. So I guess we have just 10-15 minutes remaining now. But I don't want to leave this topic also. So if anybody would like to add something from their experience, something that the concern, the question, the comment, whatever you want to share, please.
So Dhananjay, Sachin here. So
Yes, Sachin, please.
just wanted to know more about the carbon certificates.
Mhm,
You check if anything is there.
mhm. And what I find is these FAQs are really wonderful, where we can get whatever, let's say, whatever our question is. Let's see for certificate. Maybe can market-based certificate be used to justify the use of actual emission factor? This is one question. Let's see what other questions are there.
Importantly,
Mhm,
the awareness to happen, which is happening now, that is a great thing.
mhm,
So that not everybody is blind and not knowing anything in any industry. So that
mhm,
awareness, if it is created, it is a big challenge, and it will really help for anyone to face any other country or any technical issues.
mhm. Right.
That is more important than really implementation is one aspect of it. Awareness is the greater aspect of it.
Right.
I mean, it may be in what manner you can spread it out in a subtle way or at lower level, not looking only at manager, general manager. I mean, even at worker level, to the extent it should be brought the awareness for them, and so that we can defend ourselves well as world in the world.
Right.
I mean, totally new strategic way.
Mm.
Instead of just looking for certificates or salary or jobs or something, we should see how we can spread it.
Yeah.
And also, like we can also see at the ground level, they're all involved. So they can also give some ideas of how to minimize or what are the alternatives. Sometimes we think only we are too educated and we alone can do it. Wonderful things can come out from them also.
Yeah.
I mean, one or two. No, I don't mean throughout every worker. I mean, some specific people who are too keen, who have gone, they can really come. We should also put them into place.
Yeah. And what I see is such kind of effort. So maybe these give the opportunity to the people at first, and second, maybe uh, generally it's happened, right? So wherever we focus, that grows. So if we are measuring it, if everyone is asking it, then only the demand gets created, and that's how that gets developed. So whether it is for technology, whether it is for any development in any field. So if we have started asking the questions, so how we will do it, so definitely the answers will come. People will come forward. Maybe if it is so important for the organization, so that will be, the voices will be heard and the action would be taken. Otherwise, it would not. So
I
this
do.
maybe is one opportunity for all.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's wonderful, sir. You've
Yeah.
given a wonderful presentation and full of clarity, but the message has to go.
Yeah. So yeah, so and Sachin, what you had asked, so I guess this gets answered in this question. What I see is how does CBAM interact with the EU emission trading system? So ETS is there, and how the certificates would interact with that. The little details over here, what I can see is, but if your question is about how exactly that certification would be there, it is that, then we need to search.
No, just I want to know, so what is the carbon certificate that exporters has to achieve or get in the market?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So, sir, I don't know about CBAM, like what certificates are there, but there are two certificates that are prevalent in the market. One is this REC certificate, renewable energy, wala. And the other one is energy certificate system in India, that is PAT. It is something perform, achieve, and I think transfer.
that PAT, na?
Yeah, yeah.
Perform, achieve, and trade, yeah.
Yeah, so these are the energy certificate system in India, and REC are like if company they are buying preparing some their products using renewable energy, so they can show like under that cap and trade mechanism. Or there is other ways like company can buy REC certificate without using any renewable energy, so they will pay for that certificate. So that is a loophole in that certificate system. So exactly, this is the thing. I know I don't know exactly what is happening. So we can discuss on that also.
No, the basic idea is same. As you can see in the question number 69 also, can market-based certificate, let's say guarantee of origin is there or renewable energy certificate, etc. So maybe what you said for India, so that is one certification, right? Can be used to justify the use of actual emission factors. So somehow what my understanding is, maybe this would be regulated, and the number of, let's say, certificates that are available, and that would that should become more stringent as we go ahead into implementation. During this transitional phase, the general rule of the emission factor for electricity is by default. This is about electricity mainly. However, actual emission factors for electricity can be used if the relevant conditions are met. Okay. CCU is there, or carbon capture and storage is there, can reduce the emissions for purchase of determining embedded emissions. Can be taken into account when determining embedded emissions in CBAM goods, provided that certain criteria are met. These conditions are spelled out in Annex 3 implementing regulation. This guidance provides more explanation. If we see, the conditions are essentially that the captured carbon dioxide is used to produce products in which it is permanently chemically bound, or that the captured carbon dioxide is transferred to a long-term geological storage site. So, of course, it's a little bit more technical what we can see, but let's see what is there.
But is it easy to capture carbon dioxide?
Many technologies are being developed now, but
Or what
I'm
is
not
the
sure
state?
about it.
Because I feel still it is in the nascent.
Yeah, even government of India is also working on it. There was one webinar on carbon capture, and so I guess Niti Aayog was developing to the research of that.
So this technology, as per my understanding, is in a very nascent stage,
Yeah.
and like there are multiple loopholes in this technology, like where to store that, and whether we are storing that is a right way of storing or not. Like still, it is a nascent thing, so there are multiple questions behind these technologies.
And it's mostly used like a greenwashing thing as of now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it will.
like companies are working on it, but I don't know like whether they are
No,
like
so
what.
yeah, but if you listen to the climate scientists, right, they say that it's a kind of again the shifting the burden kind of. Yeah. It's to escape the actual solution that is stopping burning fossil fuels. Companies are using such techniques to get around. That's why most of the big people, the rich people, are supporting carbon capture as a mechanism.
Yeah. Because for me, I don't find one answer that, and it's the same for my opposition to nuclear. Okay. Uh, Both have one similarity. What we are talking in nuclear is we will, let's say, discard this waste in such a way that no, let's say, future generation will come in contact with it for next 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, or let's say a long period of time. I don't think so that would be possible, considering the so many climate change activities or the kind of exploration we humans do. So
And what we saw
that,
in Japan, right? What we saw in Japan.
what we saw in Japan. So I don't think that is a foolproof system. If earthquake happens in that site, you can't do anything. It's not in our control. And the same with carbon capture. So I don't find how they can justify that thing, whether you can store this, let's say, carbon dioxide in some place, and no, let's say it cannot leak out of that system. So maybe
And
we are
when
not expert,
forests
but maybe we need to
I have
ask
read
and when
I have read
sorry,
one article from Nature like some 2 years back. So it was I have read there that storing this in Earth, like in our Mother Earth. So it is also, well, we cannot say ki what is going to happen, whether it is a right way to store in inside that
right.
Earth and what happens with carbon. So that you, and then there is a concept of carbon storage and utilization. So can
Right.
we utilize the stored carbon and we can use it somewhere, and whether that is also right or not. So there are multiple dimensions behind this behind these technologies.
Yeah.
Importantly,
Mhm.
if we store in the nature, that is in the earth and all, nature will balance by itself by the various actions and thought process we are doing, by creating so many things which we are already seeing. I mean, tornado or earthquake or anything of the kind, which will disturb the whole area completely.
Yeah, so it's like solving one problem and starting a new
creating
one.
another. Exactly.
Yeah.
And also even the human species is likely to change in a matter of another maybe 300, 400 years, wherein a new species of a new kind is going to emanate, and it will totally, what all are done, like Ramayana time is something or some other yuga is something, there's another yuga that is going to come after this Kali Yuga. Just like that it is going to happen. Definitely, positively.
Yeah. So currently I'm reading one book of Noel Harari. So that was Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, about that. No? So
Yeah, I
Sapiens
have
is
read
the
that book.
popular.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
currently reading that. And what
Nice.
what sir told, so that's possible with the scientific view as well.
And one thing that I noticed, sir, like our future generation, their stamina, their endurance, so everything is coming down. So I don't know what kind of, like, it should be on the better way, but it's going on like we are producing or we are creating future generation that are very vulnerable and weak.
Mm. Yeah.
So we are not able, we don't have time to focus on the future generation. We are only all the time worried about ourselves.
but I will just say it's not a reason, right? Nobody can cope up with 4-degree rise in temperature. Saudi Arabia yesterday only touched, I think, 55 something, which is beyond human, any human. It's like you will have to develop superhumans to bear that kind of temperature. So
Today, sir, coming from Delhi, I can say like we people are habitual of bearing 50-degree temperature, and like, but nowadays like we have these facilities now, ACs, and
yeah,
earlier we used to use that cooler and that simple, and like I don't know, the more more we will become like vulnerable, or I don't have right words, so I think you are getting what I am saying.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But what about
Adaptability
55?
maybe.
No matter what, you can't bear 55 if you're out.
Now, unless we are adaptable and tuning with the nature, it is too difficult. All whatever we do is all against nature. We have to tune with nature. That is the essence of life.
Yeah, we will have to become cactus then, like bearing this.
And anyway, that field also growing, no? So learning from nature, biomimicry.
Yeah, I think in villages still we have that kind of ecosystem where we can cope up with without ACs and coolers and the same temperature. Like climate change is affecting there also, but people in villages, they are more kind of they're having that endurance and they can still living a more eco-friendly life. So we can learn from there, and we can I don't know like how we will proceed, but I think we should like get back to the basics.
Yeah.
Here I would like to suggest
Yes, sir.
youngsters of your age group, they have all come and contacted me personally, having come and visited me. And in Paripurna is one organization where they occupied about 150 acres across Bangalore, maybe about 100 kilometers away from the city, 50 or 70 or 100. And they're all trying to live in the huts with the four walls and subsequently almost like hut type and this thing, growing their own plantation, complete organic, and having 6G and all facility, and also free education for all the children where they can travel anyway, and also having transportation to the nearest highway. All those things they are doing. And
What's the
Hyderabad
name of
also,
the organization, sir? Sorry to.
Paripurna. I can send you the link or something like that. If you particularly can talk to them. Similarly, in Hyderabad also, they already identified an area about 80 to 100 acres, and they are also applying the same concept. I got almost from 18 cities from India. They all have been, I don't know how they got my number. They got in touch with me. I don't know, it is something miracle. But I don't know, I'm just only a messenger. I mean, like you, one of the messengers. So I'm just the whole total shift in the thinking of all the youth, particularly between 35 to 45. They're all earning 2 to 3 lakhs per month. I'm not joking. Still, they all are fed up with the city life, the traffic, the all kinds, including vegetables, the roadside foods, everything they're against. They're all just moving away, totally transforming themselves.
Like hippie movement in
Yes,
90s.
you can see in matter another
No,
2 years.
70s, no? Yeah.
In fact, I attended a 4-day program on art of communication from the heart. And I was 3 or 4 generations away from what all they were communicating each other, including the organizers, everyone. So, but I saw the attitude, the thought process, the personal problems, the family problems, the organizational problems. I said, I also went through all this, but I took it so sweetly, cheerfully, happily, and overcome everything. But they're all struggling so much even to take up their own mother, of their own mother-in-law within the family. To the extent they're planning to have commit suicide also. They didn't allow me to talk. During the tea time, I gave a small pep talk. All were very happy with the solutions I suggested. And just sharing with all of you. It happened only 3 days back.
Okay, great.
Great. Last time about 300 people came. This time only 60 people came. From foreign country, US one, and some other country also one had come. And from Northeast and so many regions, they all have come for the program. This is a live program. I mean, right now this is going online classes. Just now, before you that ended. But interacting directly is different from on the online program.
Wonderful, sir. Sir, would request if you can share the link in group or with me.
If you want to join this group, that starts 6:30 to 7:15 or so.
Okay, so maybe you can share in group, sir, so that whoever is interested, they can join. And
oh, surely.
Wonderful to know what are the wonderful things that people are doing.
Yes, because though spirituality alone will not do. You have to balance the material life with the spiritual life. There's nothing. I mean, not one can achieve something record here or there. It is all internally only. Anybody is interested in meditation or thoughtfulness, you can tell me. I'll definitely help you out. I'll be too glad to do it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, but for you, for last comment for today, you have raised your hand, please.
Yes, sir. I want to thank Mr. Ramakrishna, sir, has said something valuable words regarding this what urban life to rural life. Recently, I had cut 3 to 4 days leave from my office life. I went to my my wife, my brother-in-law's house or someone who stays in the village. Yeah? the environment was so nice that I went in the evening around 5 to 7 o'clock. All the ladies or the men who are taking the cultivation activities, they said me that, sir, you cannot walk on these roads, you cannot move on these roads like that. They said. Once I stepped into that mud, the cultivation land, I felt that somewhat vibes came into me that this is the nature. This is the land where we have born. This is the age where we should grow. That is almost all I spent my roughly 7 to 8 hours. I went at 5 o'clock till 9:30 or 10:30. I have been staying there and I'm asked what is this cultivation, how do you do, and what kind of fruits you will produce, what kind of rice, what kind of things you will produce. Everything was said by them. I felt so much good that this is the future generation which we should learn to our kids or the cousins where you have. That is the thing I have learned from them. Past 3 days, I felt so good that I should stay in this area. I should do fed up. And what Ramakrishna said, I felt somewhat related to this, and I have started this communication.
Oh, that's nice to know. And
And in this connection, brother, I want to say a small thing. You know, the seeds from the tomato, from capsicum, from mangoes, from the seeds we make seed bombs and plant it on all the dry areas, hilly areas, everything, so that we have more greenery. And now we have done more than 50,000 seed bombs, and we have learned the art of doing spreading it out through the villages, and it is all happening. 15,000 acres is being developed like that, not one or two. 15,000 acres. Just imagine.
yeah,
And this is
so
all related to sustainability. It is all only for the oxygen we need for breathing. It is all for Mother Earth, whom we care and love.
yeah,
And that will change our attitude of living, even the family life, personal life.
yes. So ultimately, there are many great things, and maybe we get overwhelmed by all these things. But the art of changing the behavior or whatever improving is starting small. Whatever you
Yes.
can do it consistently. Whatever you can do weekly, every day,
Yeah.
just small things, and eventually you will get the opportunity to contribute in a bigger way. So
Yes.
those who want to contribute in their job, in their work, whatever you can do easily, you should start. You don't have to let's say give up all your wealth and all your money and go to forest.
Yeah.
So that's not expected. Wherever you are, you can definitely contribute.
One simple
And
thing, contribution also, brother. Only think 5 to 10% of yours which you can contribute, where you don't expect it return come back to you for a good cause, anything,
right,
any for any development, any action, it is worthwhile. But
right,
beyond that, you have to take care of the family or of the society or whatever it is. But just 5 to 10%, it is just like old age retirement like that. Today I'm healthy at 75. I know how many of my cousins I lost, how many of my friends I lost. This attitude of giving, sharing should always be there. And I am here with you in this group is because purely of your love and the way you all communicate so nicely from the heart. Every meeting I see more divinity than the subject matter.
great. Thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
I love you all to my heart, core of my heart. I mean,
Great.
thank you very much, brother. Sorry for your
Thank
patient hearing. Not drifting
no
from
problem.
the subject, but that is equally important.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much, sir.
thank you, sir.
I love you all. Thank you very much. Really.
Yes. Last comment, Bandaru, you want to say something?
Yes, sir, but I think it's over the time, but I want to close this section if you are accepting. The thing is that Ramakrishna sir saying what the things was told by my father or the father-in-law or my cousins, they will say that our generation was fed up with this health conscious and everything. And you should be somewhat healthy, eat food healthy, live the life in a healthy way, or spend the money which was useful cause for you. Like that, they used to say. I used to say, you people will be saying that you are fed up with 75 years of what? That 50 years, like all you spend that, everything was done for you. You will say like that. On 2 days back, my father said one thing. If you want money, earn it. Do it what you want. But you want a life, spend the money for the good cause. You will learn to live a life with a good, prosperous way. All your kids will be doing somewhat good things. My final goal is that if I have a money, I would like to buy a good agriculture land and do farming, and I want my kid to be joined in this. This is my ultimate goal. If everything goes good, means I will encourage my kids. Sure, that's for sure. Even my father-in-law says that I will give you the land, come and do the farming. If you are capable of doing, come, I will do it like with me. He will be bullying me like that every when I go to the home like that, sir. Thank you,
Great.
thank you.
No, good hobby, brother. I wish all of you, about a dozen members from wherever you are, if you can collectively do it in a bigger area of 100 acres, it will be more meaningful than a small pocket of 5 or 10 acres. It will be very meaningful. And you can give life to so many people. Can the creation.
Yeah. And if there is anyone from Pune, so there is one organization who is doing this work, so I can connect you with them because I am working with one of the organization from Pune on this topic.
Okay.
So yeah,
Very nice, very nice. Proud of you. Very, very nice.
yeah. And this Zoom account is sponsored by them for this year.
Okay. To be honest, I was feeding my 100-year-old mother while attending the class of US. She was
Great.
hungry. I had to keep the one side, see that she's fed while parallelly attending the class. It's
Great.
difficulty. But it gave a lot
Sure.
of joy.
Yeah.
And
Sure. So
in
any
getting from
last
both sides.
comment that we haven't discussed, so please, otherwise we can stop now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your active participation. And it was wonderful discussing with you all. Let's continue this exploration in next week as well. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Take care.
God bless you.